and I'm an artist for Ignite Imaginations in partnership with Sheffield Libraries, and we're going to be making 3D pop-up jungle books. We'll be making something like this. Let's make a start. For today's activity, you're going to need a range of recycled materials. This could be cardboard from packaging, it might be old cereal boxes, toilet rolls, paper, anything you can get your hands on. Some string if you have it, a pencil or pen, a pair of scissors, some glue, Pritt stick or tape, and some paint, pencil crayons or pens. Don't worry if you don't have all of the materials, just see what you can do. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find a piece of cardboard. Roughly A4 size, but it can be a bit bigger or a bit smaller. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and fold it in half. But we're going to try and give it quite a wide bend. Can you see I've actually folded it twice? So you get a book shape like this. Okay? So once you have your book shape, what we want to do is we want to start decorating it. So we've got the ground to start off with. Now we're looking at a rainforest or jungle. So the ground's going to be really green. So it could be grass, it could be leaves, you could have foliage. Now here we can either use paint or pens. I'm going to use paint because I've got some available, but anything you can find will do. So I'm just going to use the end of the brush and dab paint all over that piece of cardboard. When you're starting to create your piece, have a look through books that you've got, or have a look at what's available with Sheffield Libraries. Once you've painted the whole base green, you can start working on the backdrop. So once the book's open, it's going to stand a bit like this. So in the backdrop, we're going to want trees, forest, bushes, and even maybe some animals. So let's start off using a pencil to sketch out some of that backdrop. I'm going to start off by drawing some trees. You can always find pictures on the internet, or in books you might have at home. You're going to want to leave some space for some sky to come through as well. So now I've got an outline, I can start painting it in. I'm going to begin by doing the tree trunks. For this I'm going to use pencil. I'm just going to rub the edge of my pencil along to create a textured tree trunk. Can you see? You could begin to think about what your piece is going to look like. What animals are you going to have? Could we have some monkeys? What other animals can you name that might live in the rainforest or the jungle? So I've got the bases of my trees. Now I'm going to add the tops. Again, I'm going to use my green paint, but you could carry on using pencil crayons. I'm just going to dab it lightly. Can you see? Like this. And here I'm creating the forest canopy. What animals might live up there? I could have some trees a little bit lighter. For this you just want to mix a bit of white with your green. Create a slightly lighter green. So this tree's a bit lighter. Some touches of light green there, And I might have a yellowy green as well, so one of the trees I might add a bit of yellow to the paint. A slightly yellowy green. Okay, I might also add some bushes at the bottom. So here I'll bring this grass up a little bit further to create a bush. Okay, and then in the gap we're going to need to fill in with sky. So I'll just get a fresh paintbrush for this, or you could use other crayons, or you could wash your brush in water. Okay, so just finish that off there. So I'm going to do a light blue sky. So for this you're going to need a bit of white paint and a bit of blue paint. And we'll mix them together to make a nice light blue. So bring the blue in there, just do a nice wash of blue. There we go. So you should have a nice full background. Okay. Next, you're going to want to go back in with details. So I might add some details to the tree. For instance, I might use some brown paint over the top just to bring some details into the trees and make them look a little bit more realistic. You see, I'm just starting to add detail to the tree here. Same here. Bit of texture. You might want to bring some of the branches up into the forest as well, so add a little bit more brown on its way up into the trees. You could also add vines between the trees. So often in forests you'll find vines hanging as well. Although we're going to have a go at creating some 3D vines later. Once you're happy with your forest background, we can set that aside to dry. Now we're going to draw out the animals and the bushes for the front. So for these, just take some scrap card, so it could be an old cereal box or something like that. And you're going to want to draw some grass. So here I'm just drawing some grass shapes. You're going to want some bushes, and maybe a bit more grass, some nice big pieces, a bit like that. Now we can paint them in before cutting them out or after. I'm just going to cut them out first. Okay, so here is my grass shape. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that aside. Notice at the bottom I've left enough space to fold it over. So I'll be able to fold it like this so that I can stick it down onto my base. I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to have a go at drawing some animals. Now I'm going to try maybe a monkey, a giraffe and a panther, but think of as many different animals as you can. If you struggle to draw animals, you could always print some off the computer, or you could find some on old boxes. For instance, here on a box there's a picture of an ox, and I could always cut him out and use him in my piece. So be creative. Doesn't matter if you're not that good at drawing. You can always copy a picture from a book or from the computer. Just try your best. Yeah, I'm going to roughly draw a panther. Don't forget you need to leave tabs on their feet, so you've got some way of sticking them down. So here, rough panther shape, and here I'm going to have a go at a monkey. I'm going to have my monkey hanging from my trees, but you could have lots of creatures all over the forest floor. Here, so I've got a panther and a monkey. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'll cut them out and I'm going to colour them in. So here, I've cut out my monkey. Now I'm going to colour him in. Here I'm going to use some pencil crayons, but you could use anything you like. Don't forget to add details to your animals, such as eyes and feet, ears, noses and even mouths. I'm going to colour them in, all in one colour to start off with, then I'm going to go back in with my pencil to add details. So here I'm going to add the head and the ear back to my monkey. I'm going to add the rest of their head shape. I'm going to add his eyes. I'm going to put thighs on his legs and parts on his arms till he begins to look a bit more like a monkey. Here's the panther, so I've painted him in black. I've also cut out a parrot and lots of different bushes and bits of foliage. Here is a giraffe that I created. So you can see on this, I've drawn out in pencil first and I've started colouring in with pencil crayons. So I'm just going to continue that. I'll add some more patterns to him. So another great one to do is zebras. They've got lots of interesting shapes and patterns on them. So you can see as you start to add the details and start to add the colour, all the creatures really come to life. So once you've finished painting your animals, what we need to do is create some trees. So for these, I'm going to draw them out with a pen. Try not to make your trees bigger than your backdrop. Draw out a range of different trees and we're going to cut them out to make pieces a bit like this. Now we're going to colour them in. So here again I've used some crayons for the stalk and the trunk, and I think I'm going to use paint again for the top. So here we'll just cover the top in paint to create something a bit like this. Or alternatively you could use felt tips and make some a bit like this. Once you've got an assortment of trees and assortment of animals, we're going to start assembling our piece. Take your backdrop, which should look something like this, and test out locations for your different trees, for your animals, and figure out where you want them to go. Once you've figured out where you want them to go, we're going to need to make some concertinas for the background. So you can see on this example piece, we have a spring. Now that's made using 2 strips of card. So for this, I'm just going to cut 2 long strips of card the same length and roughly the same width. Doesn't have to be too accurate. So here we have 2 strips. Now we're going to stick them like this, using some glue or some tape. Here I'm just using some Pritt stick, but if you've got tape that'll work well as well. Okay, so just stick those together like this. Okay, now we're going to want to start folding them. So fold the bottom one over first, like this, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you should start to form this spring shape. Just keep folding one after the other until you reach the end of your card. You're going to need to make a few different springs of different lengths and sizes. I'm almost at the end here. There we go. You can see I now have a spring shape. Now I'm just going to use glue again to glue those ends together. So here, a blob of glue, and we'll glue it together. Now that's not coming apart. And what we want to do is place it on the back of your tree. Again, you can glue it or you can tape it. I'm just going to glue it. Okay, so I've used one at the top and one at the base of the tree. That'll make it nice and sturdy. Now we're going to stick these to the back. So now that you have the concertinas on the back of your trees, we're going to want to stick them to the backdrop. So take your backdrop, put a little bit of sticky tape on your tree, and we can place it gently on the back, like this. Can you see? It pops up. Now, the other tree. Make sure that they fit within your backboard. Okay, so here's the second tree. I'm just using a little bit of sticky tape, but you could use glue or Pritt stick, anything else you can find. Okay, so here we go. That's our trees. Now we want to create the landscape in front. I'm going to start off by sticking down some of the bushes. So we have some bushes here. I think I'll place those there. And again, they're stuck down with sticky tape. Now, where's that panther? Here we go. I'm going to have the panther hiding behind the bushes. And then we can have another set of bushes over here. And I'm going to stick my giraffe right at the front. So here we go, we've got the giraffe right at the front. That's because when it folds down, we need enough space for it to fit within the book. Okay, so that is my 3D pop-up book. But I did say I was going to create a monkey. Now here's my monkey. I've attached him to a piece of string, as you can see here. I've used sellotape. Now I can tape this to the back of the two trees to create a vine. Here we go. Just tape it behind there, and we'll tape it behind there, so that now our monkey hangs from the string. You may want to paint in the string to make it look green, make it look a little bit more like a vine, but that's entirely up to you. Next, we just need to test our pop-up book. So have a go, folding everything down, and then popping it all back up again. Does it work? Don't forget to share your examples with us with #IgniteImaginations. Thank you for watching. Bye.